Well, I think they've been struggling results-wise, but if you look at their last 5 games, they drew the last game, and the previous 4 games they lost by the odd goal. And in each of those games, the game could have actually gone either way. So it's one of those situations that they're in at the moment where things just aren't going right for them. But they're still a team that are very dangerous. They're a team that are very well organised. They're a team that work very hard, and they're the team on the cusp of getting a win. So it's a very dangerous game for us this weekend. It's hugely motivated. They're coming. Any team that comes to Orlando, first and foremost, is usually motivated as soon as they walk into our stadium. There's further motivation for players when you play against Marta, Alex Morgan, Sid LaRue, etc, etc. So that's always going to be an X factor that makes a lot of our games potentially more difficult than games they may play against other teams. And as you say, they've been getting close to getting a win, and at some stage in the season, a team is going to turn that around. So we've just got to make sure that it's not this weekend. She's been doing well. I mean, I think like anything, most of their dangerous situations often come through Carli, because she's that kind of player who has got the ability as a midfield player and an attacking midfield player to actually dribble and to actually get past the defending line. So when you've got players that can do that, they're always very dangerous. And again, Carli's not used to being a team that's losing, so she'll be highly motivated to make sure she turns that around. Look, she's ready in the sense that she is fully healthy. She's still probably got a little bit to go in the sense of being ready to play fully in a match at the NWSL level. But her progress has been absolutely stellar. The way that she's conducted her rehab and our medical staff have conducted her rehab has been first class. She deserves an inordinate amount of credit for that, as does our medical staff. That's huge, and that shows the value of having really committed teammates who are committed to everybody in the team. And it can be a very lonely road when you're coming back from a serious injury, because you're kind of with the group but you're not with the group. And Camila's turned up here day after day, did some stuff with us, and then has basically been on our own with Martin or with John, and that's mentally as well as physically, that is very difficult, and that's the value and why we've got some great players here both on the field and off the field. Basically, yeah, it's getting into that and just general match fitness. So you can get, it's like anything, you can get up to a level of fitness, but there's that's match fitness, which I can't describe. You know it when you haven't got it. But she's just kind of got to get up to that speed. But she's completely back in games. She's back to her old self, and it's just the more she starts getting in and playing. She's only been back for a week now. So you've been out for 8 or 9 months, back for a week full training. It just takes a little bit longer. It depends. It's a great question. I don't know. You really don't know. I think if you look back to last season, what happened is when we got on that winning roll is that our team was consistent week in and week out, and you don't want to break that up. So the balance is it's almost a week-to-week, game-to-game scenario where you have to make judgments on whether you think a player needs to get in the team to get some time in there, or whether a player might need to just get rested for a little bit. Or it can be a situation where your starting team is your starting team, and you see that week in and week out, and it's consistent, and you don't actually want to change it. So what the answer is, I don't know until we hopefully get on that winning run. Rachel's back fully. She's fully back in training and ready to go. So she's ready for selection at the weekend. Marta's got a doctor's appointment today, so we are unsure at this stage as to her fitness for the weekend. So that's a day-to-day thing at the moment. But she's not far away. Well, I think we've seen contributions from everybody, to be honest. I mean, if you look, and we're beginning to do that more consistently as we're getting more familiar with each other. But I think, if I look at the selection problems that I have in a forward sense, you've got Marta, you've got Alex, you get Sid, you've got Che, you've got Rachel Hill, and you get Danica, who had a very, very good game when she came on at the weekend. So it's shuffling all of those players. So it's not, and I think we're in the situation now where the relationship between whatever players we put in there is a good one. Well, I think I've seen her role develop over the 3 years, if you like, or 2.5 years. In the sense, she came here as a fullback, but she is what your classic utility player. She's a player who can play virtually every position in the park, apart from maybe goalkeeper and centre back. She can play effectively everywhere, and those players are really invaluable in the squad. And sometimes it's a little bit tough on them, because sometimes they might miss out because you have a specialist player in a particular position. But if you look back at season 1, Kristen carried us in some games, carried us to wins, getting results, and basically was a pulse of the team. And she's continued to be that pulse. The quality of our team, I think, has improved significantly. So within that, her role in one sense has developed to being a player that can come in, do any kind of job, play any kind of position, and we know what kind of consistent performance we're going to get. I think the significance is the way our club has the attachment to the community. I think that was made clear when that tragedy happened last year, how the club responded, how the community responded, and how the club and the community together responded. And I think it's very apt, to I won't say the word celebrate, because that gives a wrong impression, but to acknowledge that tragedy last year, and to know that we're still thinking of those people, the families, and the many, many other people that were impacted by that, and that our club was impacted by it in the same way as other people in the community. So it's an important weekend, and I know it's a very serious weekend for us, and it's a weekend that our players, team, staff, club take very, very seriously, and see it very much as part of our responsibility to make sure that the community knows how much we care. I think so. She's recovering really well at the moment. Yeah, so I would say knowing Ali, she'll be wanting to be back at the full weekend of that. So, but she's doing very, very well.